This is the first time we see Luffy in the manga. He is described as a typical kid living in a typical town. There is nothing special about him. There is no mention of who his brothers are, or who his father is, or who his grandfather is, or what the devil fruit he ate actually is. This here is the foundation of his entire character and how everyone's image and expectations of him were formed. As the story progresses, we are given more and more information regarding all the super special people he is associated with until he has no relation with the person he began as in chapter 1. The One Piece apologists keep saying Oda is not contradicting anything when he is fleshing out a character with more details. What is there to contradict when he takes someone who has no named relatives and friends and just adds relatives and friends? In this regard, they are right. What he's doing doesn't contradict something and he is fleshing out a character. The thing is, he's achieving that by retconning details and changing people's perspective of a character to the point where he becomes a different character. Luffy, for example, changed from a typical underdog who gets no special favors from everyone and who any person can root for, to an unrelatable special chosen one who knows every important person, gets special favors all the time, and is plot armored by destiny to succeed. Oda does the exact same thing with most characters and locations. He initially creates them in a simple way, and then every 100 chapters retcons more details about who they know and how important they are, thus constantly changing what we thought of them. He doesn't contradict anything when he does that, since initially there was nothing that could be contradicted, but he can throw in anything he wants and everyone is supposed to accept it. If, for example, he reveals in 100 chapters that Luffy is a clone from another dimension, we have to accept it, since it doesn't contradict what we know of him. Bug is an alien from a planet of clowns. We have to accept it and it doesn't contradict anything. Imu is Robin's grandson who came back from the future. We have to accept it and it doesn't contradict anything. And that is why Oda ruined the whole story. He kept changing it with constant retcons to the point it became a different story. Whether you prefer the new story over the old story doesn't matter. What matters is that the original story someone liked and followed the manga for decades because of that no longer exists from a point on. In fact, it's no longer the story that replaced the first one, or the story after that. One Piece has been retconned so many times, it's now a dozen stories replacing one another, and that is also the main reason why most who are still following it became theory crafters. Oda has been constantly changing the details for 25 years, thus by now everyone expects every character to be more than what we see at first, and every location to have a hidden meaning which will be revealed later on. Oh my, it's like I'm describing the same problems as Attack on Titan, isn't it? It's almost like you see the same train wreck repeating before your eyes because most of it doesn't happen organically. It happens with retcons, meaning by the time you find out about something, it's part of the past, and in fact it was supposed to be there since the beginning of the show. It didn't happen naturally as the plot goes on. It was added to someone's past and in an off-screened fashion. It's why everyone in the fandom has been conditioned to expect every character and location to be more than what they seem, so they constantly theorycraft what the next retcon is going to be, since there is definitely going to be one, and it won't contradict anything since initially there weren't many details. This is not good storytelling. It's a constant rewrite of a story for the sake of creating openings for continuing to make more a story that will then be rewritten as well. And all the fans are doing is adding fuel to the fire by making their own retcons and rewrites in the form of theories, which of course get thrown in the trash can with each next chapter, and more theories are made in their place only to have the same treatment by the time the next chapter comes out. That is what Oda is doing. A bad joke that the fans take seriously, and why they all come off as bigger clowns than Buggy.
In Chapter 1, Higuma the Bear enters the bar by kicking down the door. However, when Higuma leaves the bar, this door is now magically intact. Quite the continuity error, or is it? I mean, yes it is. But every time there's a continuity error or something strange happens in One Piece, Oda then invents something stupid for it to make sense. In this case, when the error was pointed out to him, Oda said, no. The door was fixed due to the work of a carpenter named Minatomo-sama. He has a short temper, so he cannot pass by a broken door or what have you without repairing it. I assure you, this wasn't my mistake. And in the anime, Minatomo also became an Easter egg character like Panda Man. He pops up a lot during early One Piece. But in the manga, we didn't see him again, or actually at all, until chapter 909 on Wano as Frankie's carpenter boss, except this is not him, it is an identical relative also named Minatomo.
You know, these retconned flashbacks can just include anything. Such as, like, I don't know, something to make Ace look cooler, because Oda keeps retroactively, like, giving Ace feats and things that happened in the story to, like, keep him alive because, I don't know, nostalgia of the filler from the Alabasta anime. You know, these retconned flashbacks can just include anything. Such as, like, Bonnie will live in the church for another year under medical team's care. But the medical team were all government agents. Their leader was a CP8 agent named Alpha. She's a sexy nurse. Sure, why not, Oda? You know, these retconned flashbacks can just include anything. Such as, like, we could see another montage with all of the former warlords' reactions to the news. Alvida, Kobe, Dragon, Sabo, and Koala appeared too. You know, these retconned flashbacks can just include anything. Such as, like, Kuma knowing about Nika. You know, remember that? Kuma is kind of like the prophet of Joy Boy at this point, right? Is that like his purpose in the story? So if anyone were to be the guiding hand to Luffy, it would be him. Was Kuma the whole time that pushed Luffy in motion to go on his journey to become the new Nika and to bring the dawn? But anyway, the next chapter is probably going to be incredible because, you know, something is going to happen. You know, the three admirals represent like the three friends that Momotaro makes in that Japanese folklore. Like Momotaro meets a dog, a pheasant, and a bird. And the three admirals are based off of that. I guess that means that all of the admirals are going to have face turns, including Aki Inu for sure. And they'll probably all befriend Luffy in some way.
Oda is officially filling one of the bigger plot holes of One Piece, which is how a man of Shanks' caliber possibly could have lost his arm to the Lord of the Coast. The answer here being that he didn't lose it, he gave his arm. As soon as it became clear that Luffy was the fated man boy to bring about the dawn and everything, Shanks quite literally severed his connection to his family and ensured that they wouldn't be able to summon him against his will or use him for anything involving the Abyss power.
Yo, what a great chapter this is. 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 Yo, what a great chapter this is.